Far beyond the orbit of Mars, space began to shake. Thousands of alien warships dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation. Their hulls were dark red, sharp, and built for war. This was the Kryn Hegemony, a powerful empire that had conquered hundreds of worlds without losing a single major battle. At the front of the fleet stood their leader, High Marshal Voth. He was tall, with gray skin and cold yellow eyes. He looked at the small blue planet on his screen and smiled. "So this is Earth," he said. "The planet everyone talks about, but no one has ever truly tested." His officers laughed. Kryn's scanners showed only a few human ships near the planet. Compared to the Hegemony's massive fleet, Earth looked helpless. A signal came through. It was a request to talk, sent from Earth itself. Voth accepted it, mostly out of amusement. On the screen appeared a woman in a simple gray uniform. Her name was Ambassador Clara Hale. She did not look afraid. She did not look nervous. She simply looked calm. "High Marshal Voth," she said. "You are standing very close to our home." Voth leaned forward. "Your home has 3 visible defense fleets. My scanners confirm it. You have no way to stop what is coming. That is what everyone believes," Hale replied. Voth's smile faded slightly. "Is that a threat, Ambassador?" "No," she said calmly. "It's a warning." The Kryn bridge crew laughed loudly this time. One officer said, "A human threatening the Hegemony. How amusing." Voth raised a hand for silence. He looked back at Hale. "Do you understand what my fleet can do to your planet in less than 1 hour?" "I understand it perfectly," Hale said. "But you don't yet understand what is already surrounding you." For a moment no one spoke. Then deep inside the Kryn flagship, a sensor officer frowned at his screen. A strange reading had just appeared. Faint, but definitely there. Not a ship, not a weapon signature, something the system could not identify. He looked up, about to report it. But before he could speak, the entire bridge lights flickered once, and somewhere behind the Kryn fleet, space itself began to bend. Nobody on the Kryn bridge said a word. The sensor officer, a young Kryn named Driss, stared at his screen. The strange reading was still there. It was not moving, it was not attacking, it was just waiting. "High Marshal," Driss said carefully, "I am detecting something behind our fleet." Voth turned slowly. "Behind us? That's impossible. Nothing can pass through our sensor net without being seen." "I know, sir, but the reading is there." Voth walked over and looked at the data himself. The signal was weak, almost like a shadow. It didn't match any known ship class. It didn't match any known weapon. It didn't match anything at all. He frowned. "Probably a sensor error. Run a full diagnostic." "Yes, High Marshal." On the screen, Ambassador Hale watched quietly. She had not moved. She had not smiled. She simply waited, the way someone waits when they already know what happens next. Voth turned back to her. "You said something is surrounding us. Was that just words, Ambassador, or do you actually believe that?" "I don't believe it," Hale said. "I know it." Voth laughed, but it was shorter this time, less confident than before. Meanwhile, far below on Earth, inside a quiet control room hidden underground, a group of engineers watched a very different screen. Green lights blinked steadily across a massive map of the solar system. One older engineer, a woman named Dr. Amara Reyes, looked at a countdown timer. "They're in position," she said softly. A younger technician beside her asked nervously, "Do you think the Kryn will actually attack?" Dr. Reyes didn't look away from the screen. "It doesn't matter if they attack or not. What matters is, they don't know what's already here." Back on the Kryn flagship, Voth ordered his fleet to move closer to Earth's orbit. Thousands of warships adjusted their formation, engines glowing bright as they advanced. Weapon systems began charging, ready for the order to strike. Driss kept watching his screen. The strange signal hadn't disappeared. If anything, it felt closer now. Almost aware. He wanted to say something again, but he stopped himself. Reporting a sensor glitch twice might make him look foolish in front of the High Marshal. so he stayed quiet. And high above Earth, in the empty dark of space, something ancient and patient continued to wait. The countdown was almost at 0. Weapons fully charged, a Kryn officer announced. High Marshal Voth stood tall at the center of the bridge. Target Earth's largest visible fleet first. Show them what real power looks like. Yes, High Marshal. Ambassador Hale's image was still on the screen. She had not asked for mercy. She had not asked for time. She simply looked at Voth and said one last thing. You should look behind you. Voth almost laughed again, but something in her voice made him pause. Fire, he ordered instead. Thousands of energy cannons lit up across the Kryn fleet. Bright red beams shot forward, aimed straight at Earth's small defense ships, but the beams never reached their target. Space itself seemed to twist in front of them. The red energy bent, scattered, and disappeared into nothing, like it had hit an invisible wall that didn't exist a second ago. What just happened? Voth shouted. Driss stared at his screen, his hands frozen over the controls. High Marshal, the weapons fire didn't reach Earth. Something absorbed it. Absorbed it? Show me. The main screen changed, and what appeared made every officer on the bridge go silent. Behind the entire Kryn fleet, not in front, not beside, but directly behind, hundreds of massive ships had appeared. They were not there a moment ago. There was no warning, no engine flare, no jump signature. They had simply become visible, as if they had always been there and the Kryn had simply never been allowed to see them. The ships were dark, silent, and perfectly still. Impossible, Voth whispered. Nothing can hide from our scanners like that. On Earth, deep in the underground control room, Dr. Reyes finally allowed herself a small smile. There they are, she said quietly. The Myth Fleet. For years, rumors had spread across the galaxy about a hidden human fleet, a story most species treated as a joke, a legend told to sound brave. Even some humans doubted it was real. It was real. Back on the Kryn flagship, panic began spreading through the crew. Officers shouted over each other, trying to understand what was happening. Sensors that had worked perfectly a minute ago now struggled to explain the ships surrounding them. Voth gripped the edge of his command chair. Ambassador Hale, he said slowly. What is this? Hale's expression didn't change. This, she said calmly, is the warning I gave you. Behind the Kryn fleet, one of the massive human ships began to move forward, slow and steady, like it had all the time in the world. The hunters had just realized they were the ones being hunted. Voth's fear quickly turned into anger. They think they can scare us with a few ships, and he shouted. Turn our cannons around, target the human fleet directly, fire everything we have. The Kryn fleet obeyed instantly. Thousands of warships rotated their weapons toward the newly revealed human ships. Massive plasma cannons charged again, brighter than before, ready to prove that numbers still mattered. Fire! A wall of energy blasted across space aimed directly at the closest human ships. The crew waited for the explosions. None came. The beams struck the human ships and simply vanished, absorbed without any flash, without any damage, without any sound. It was as if the weapons had never existed at all. Impossible, an officer whispered. Direct hits confirmed, but there's no damage anywhere. Voth's hands tightened into fists. Fire again, all batteries, continuous fire. The Kryn unleashed everything. Missiles, plasma beams, heavy cannons, an attack strong enough to destroy a moon. Space lit up bright red for several long seconds. When the light faded, the human ships were still there. Untouched. Not a single scratch. Not a single mark. One young officer stepped back from his console, his voice shaking. High Marshal, our weapons aren't failing to hit them. They're being erased before they even land. Voth turned sharply. Erased? Explain yourself. I don't know how to explain it, sir. It's like the attack never happened. On Earth, Dr. Reyes watched the same event through a secure feed, her arms crossed, her face calm. They're wasting energy, she said quietly to her team. Let them try a little longer. It won't matter. Back on the Kryn flagship, silence spread across the bridge. For the first time in his long career, High Marshal Voth felt something new. Doubt. He looked at Ambassador Hale, still calmly waiting on the screen. "What kind of technology is this?" he asked, his voice lower now. Hale tilted her head slightly. "It's not just technology, Marshal. It's patience. You attacked a fleet that has been preparing for this exact moment for a very long time." Driss, still watching his sensors, suddenly froze. New readings were appearing, not just behind the fleet now, but on multiple sides. "High Marshal," he said carefully. "More contacts detected. Many more." Voth's eyes narrowed. "How many?" Driss swallowed hard before answering. "I don't have an exact number yet, sir, but it's growing every second.